Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. This is Saim, your crypto CPA from the Lone Star State here at Akif CPA and ChainBlock Financial. Today, we are honored to have an amazing guest with us. As you know, that I have plenty of clients that do mining of all sorts. It started with the Bitcoin mining, then went to different proof of stake mining, and now there's all types of mining involved. There's deep in projects, there's this and that, but there's one mining ecosystem that stands out. And again, I'm going to be a student in this today's podcast session, and the guest that we have today here is the YODA of TAO. He is going to be discussing the TAO's ecosystem, and we're gonna put out quite a few questions and learn from him what it takes to mine in this AI mining, which is actually at the revolutionary cutting edge of blockchain mining in general. And this is not some meme coin. The utility is amazing. But again, I've watched a couple of videos on YouTube on this. I know how the ecosystem works, but what it takes to become a miner, to become a participant in this ecosystem, we'll ask the YODA of TAO. And for anonymity purposes, we have obscured the picture of YODA of TAO, but I can assure you that this is a real person, and they are a master in this ecosystem, and they're going to be teaching us. So you can take my assurance, this is not someone who's fake. And so here we have it. Let's bring in the YODA of TAO. So welcome, the YODA of TAO.
What's up? What's up?
How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
Where I'm doing well as well. If you can kindly raise your volume just a little bit so we
Yeah,
can hear you a
of
little bit
course.
better. Okay, awesome,
How's
awesome.
this? Is that better?
Yes, this is much, much better. So,
Perfect.
and I know this is Yoda is the master, right? We have all watched Star Wars, the powers that come with this master, but today we're going to pick the brain of this master. So if you can tell us a little about yourself, your background, and when did you get into crypto?
Yeah, I originally got into crypto, let me see, 2017 or 2018. I was mining Ethereum, and that's kind of how I got into the whole mining thing. And I'd seen videos about Bittensor miners in China or Iceland, where they had these huge warehouses of ASICs, and I was like, that's totally inaccessible to me. But then I learned about Ethereum, and you can just go to your local computer store and buy these graphics cards and assemble them together, and then start mining like that and making money. And that's how I got started in crypto. Um,
Okay,
yeah,
give me 1 second. I think my voice is not coming. I just want to make sure. Okay, let me see. I think my voice should be coming now, hopefully. Yeah. So okay, so that's how you got started into so ASIC miners, those are still the machine miners, right?
yeah, those are the ones that are like, I don't know if you've seen the videos on YouTube where like in China or like I said in Iceland they have these huge warehouses of like basically these machines that are just built only to mine Bitcoin. And that's what ASIC means. ASIC means application specific integrated circuit. And that's just like a fancy way to say a computer that can only mine Bitcoin. And they're much more expensive. They're like $3,000 or $4,000 per machine. And to really make it an efficient operation, you probably need thousands of them. And a lot of people have like liquid cooling solutions for them. And there are even some that like take over old power plants and they just buy the power plant and then they use the power plant to mine Bitcoin with them.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna quickly repeat our intro. I believe I was not audible. So everyone, this is Saim, your crypto CPA from the Lone Star State here at Akif CPA and ChainBlock Financial. Today we have the YODA of TAO. YODA of TAO is a ecosystem in blockchain, which is a cutting edge ecosystem. And I had mentioned in my intro that I have worked with hundreds of clients that are miners, but this is such a unique mining system that's feeding into the AI, and we've brought in the Yoda. Yoda is the master, right? We watched Star Wars. We know that there's magical powers, but we're gonna pick the brain of the Yoda of Tao today in explaining what this ecosystem is and how you can get started in mining this in this ecosystem. So what you've just heard is the ASIC part that the Yoda is explaining, and now we'll get into more questions. So after you did the Yoda, after you did the ASIC miners, and then you went to Ethereum, then what happened? What brought you over to this, and what are other projects are you working on? Do you have a technical background? Tell us a little bit about yourself too.
Yeah, so I actually probably when I started Ethereum mining, I was not really that technical. I used to make little mods for video games, but nothing crazy. It was like, it'd be make like a cool little mod that was like 50 lines of code for like GTA or something. Um, but I wouldn't really call that technical. It was something that you could learn in a week or two on YouTube. And then I got into Ethereum mining, and it made me want to learn more about coding and stuff like that. So that was around 2017, 2018, and I really started to learn more on coding, and I started making my own video games and things like that. Nothing impressive really, but just making for the art of learning. Um, and then probably around 2022 to 2023, maybe, I got introduced to Bittensor, and that's when I really started learning, and I really started um, you know learning more about AI and coding and all that stuff. And yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's where when you say coding,
Mhm.
um, what do you mean by coding? Is this Python? Is this how
Yeah.
did you first learn about the Bittensor? And because I've seen some videos on the Templar of Tao, and
Mhm.
and how where does one start? Because I understand that the barriers to entry, because this is so technical, and what is it doing with AI? What does it have to do with AI?
So when I talk about coding, I'm talking about, it's kind of a broad term, but it's really just making the computer do what you want it to do. Like it could be a video game mod, it could be you know, a tax accounting software, it could be anything. But for me, what my coding looks like, I code pretty much only in Python nowadays. Um, and and I guess what was your next question?
The next question was like for a newbie, how do they get started? Like what do they do if they want to take a stab at this?
Yeah.
And what does it relate? How does it relate to AI? Because I'm hearing
Mhm.
this AI a lot, and we'll get into the into subnets as we share our screens with the viewer, and you can then guide us through exactly what all these subnets are. But before we share the screen, what is the utility? Because a lot of times what we have learned from past mining is that you're solving a puzzle, right? You're solving some sort of puzzle, and that was the proof of work that came with the Bitcoin ecosystem and those ASIC miners. And then we have the proof of stake, where we're just giving money back into that ecosystem, like Ethereum. That you need 32 Ethereum to be a miner slash validator. um, but then what is this? Uh, what are we solving anything, or what are we doing here?
So BitTensor is kind of it's kind of a hybrid between proof of work and proof of stake. Like the actual consensus mechanism, meaning how transactions get approved. Let's say I send $10 to you. That is done in the same way that proof of stake is done. But the way that validators get compensated is that for every subnet, and like you said, we'll get into those later, but a subnet's basically just like a company. Um, each company has a problem that they want to solve, and they task validators with evaluating how well a miner has solved that problem. Um,
Oh wow. Okay.
and that's a little. It sounds. It's kind of complex, but basically, um, like I said, it's like a hybrid of proof of stake and proof of work. The proof of work comes from validators deciding how well a miner did or solved a problem. That's the proof that they did the work, and also not that they just did the work, but how well they did the work.
Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
So how well they did the work. Interesting. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. So, and yeah, I'm again, I'm taking notes as you're telling me all this. Why don't we share our screens? Why don't we start? And
Okay.
maybe you can guide us and show us what this is all about. Give me 1 second. I'll.
Okay.
Okay. And let me unpin myself. Here we have it. So yes, if you can. So tell us, yeah, where does one go to learn more? Yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, the um, homepage of Bittensor is this website called TAO Stats, right? And I'll show you here. And this is it's like the one-stop shop for Bittensor, right? It's a block explorer, and you'll see that the subnets here, it's like a coin market cap of Bittensor. You have the validators here. It's if you want to learn anything about Bittensor, this is the best place to go, basically. And one of the most fundamental things about Bittensor that's kind of new, it actually just kind of launched last February, is DTAO. And that's what I talk about with subnets being their own companies. Each of these is a subnet, okay? And they all have a different problem they want to solve. And
Okay.
like I was saying, the validators validate that the miners solved a problem and how well they solved it. So you'll see here shoots. This is the most popular subnet. It has a price of 0.1 TAO. So you do 0.1 times 345. So each token is worth $34 or just thereabout. Um, and yeah, that's kind of how I would look at this as a complete beginner. If you want to do like, there's the bare minimal superficial research into TAO, this is the best way to do it.
Okay. And I noticed that earlier I was able to also see. So I know that so subnets are basically companies, and these companies are solving a problem of one type or another. And then by solving this problem, or whoever is part of the solving mechanism, and the companies have basically laid out the foundation of the subnet, and whoever is coming in and solving these problems, they're getting rewards, and those are then times by the tau value here, and that's giving us the reward. So can you tell us? So now I know that not all the subnets are. So give us an example. Okay, like for example, um, I know LLMs. They're heavy, intensive. So how is this feeding in, and which? And I've seen that there was a dashboard earlier where you could see the unknown subnets that were gonna
Yeah,
pop up in the future, basically, right?
yeah. And I'll give you an example here just of
Yeah.
a working subnet, like a well-established one. Let's
Okay.
see. So this is shoots, and you're kind of asking about like, what problem
Yes.
do like, what problem does a subnet solve? So shoots is actually really cool. Shoots is kind of like AWS, but decentralized, and particularly for AI. So AWS, for the non technical people, basically whenever you do anything like in the cloud, it's all run on AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. Basically, Amazon, they own, who knows how many $1 trillion worth of servers, and every company in the world basically uses that. It's the gold standard of cloud servers. And what Shoots is kind of just a decentralized version of that. In the same way that Bitcoin is decentralized, money, Shoots is decentralized AWS. And Shoots is also really cool because it's kind of targeted at non-technical people. You can go here to Shoots chat, and you need to create an account, but it allows you to instantly chat with any model in the world, like any open source model in the world. Just with how you go on ChatGPT, and it's like GPT-5, GPT-4, and all this, and that's just their closed source models. But Shoots, they have something like 250 models at your hands to chat with. And this is really important because some models suck at some things and they're great at others, and some models are vice versa. So and we can actually dive into the revenue here, I believe, of Shoots. And that's what makes this so cool, is that let's see here. I don't know if they publish these. Yeah, here we go. So here's Shoots revenue. So they're making around this is daily, so around $11,000 a day. Fluctuates a little bit. I think they're making around 30 days at $334,000 in revenue. So if you look at the chart, it looks like it's a positive trend, right?
And
and
this
what's that?
334,000 is going to all the miners in Shoots?
No. This is actually not even from the blockchain. This is from fiat. Like this is not mining revenue. This is literally revenue from the usage of the platform. The mining, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. This is like a real company. This is their actual revenue from people paying. Now they may pay in crypto or they may pay in fiat, but this is like actual real people giving them money to use their platform. And the revenue of or the mining emission, rather, the money that miners get goes to build this, to make this possible. So if we go here to nodes, this basically just shows how many GPUs they have. So they have 5,000 GPUs, and that's what the blockchain is funding. So they have 3,400 NVIDIA H200s.
Wow.
And I think an H200 is around, let's see, H200 cost per GPU. I don't know. Let's look up to buy, but it's something like, we'll call it $40,000 times 3,400. It's quite a lot. 40,000 3,400. Yeah, so $13.6 million in GPUs, just based off and that's just one type of GPU. They have a bunch of others as well.
So as a lay person, tell me a little bit more. So what's happening is, you're coming in, or other people are coming in. They're using, so this is a company called Shoots. They are now under their belly, in the ecosystem of nodes and miners. There's about 3,500 H200 miners, 13.6 million active H200 CPUs are 13 point worth, that are being used. And what are they being used for? What are they feeding into, or what's happening?
Yeah, so like I said, you can basically, here's a better example. So all these GPUs are running these models, right? And these are all open source models, right? And
Wow.
you can, with the Shoots chat thing, which I just was talking about earlier, you can basically go to a site that looks exactly like ChatGPT, and all you do is go here and you change. I don't want to use Gemma because it's not very good at this task. But DeepSeek R1 is really good at this task, so I change it, and then I want to go to another task. DeepSeek is not good at this task, but GLM is. And then that's kind of what the use case is. So these are, OpenAI only runs 5 models, or I don't know how many models they have nowadays, but it's not very much. It's like 3 or 4 or 5. But Shoots is running. I mean, just look here. This is like 200 or 250 models, and it's just easily accessible to the average layperson. Because if you don't know how to code and to get these models up and running, you first have to rent a GPU server. Then you'd have to set up the GPU servers. You'd have to get all the correct drivers. Then you'd have to download the model. Then you'd have to run the model. I mean, this is easily, it's probably impossible if you're not technical, but even if you are technical, this could be a 3-hour task. But with Shoots, it's all easy. One click, you go here, you type in your chat, you would say, what is the best stock to buy? Oh, or and then I have
Yeah,
to
you have to
log in to
log in.
run
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is it's it's amazing.
So now let me ask you this. So all these open source models, whether it's Grok or DeepSeek, I mean, these are just it's fascinating. This is moving so fast. But all these open source models, you can come here, and as an end user that is not, let's say, related to mining, they can come here and use these models and then pay a fee, right, to run
Yeah.
the model, and then
Yeah, but
Shoots would
go ahead.
collect that revenue. But then deep inside, uh, how are the miners getting paid?
So the miners get paid in the same way that Bitcoin miners get paid. The blockchain makes right now 7,200 TAO a day, or it actually, since now it's TTAO, it's alpha a day. So I'll go back here. They make 7,200 of these tokens a day, this amount. So if we go here to emission, let's see here. I don't know how I can scroll sideways here, but this emission column,
Yeah, just click on and go and click on your right on the keyboard. I think, yeah, it should.
there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
This emission column is how much it, we can do some quick napkin math here. 28 times 20 times 0.01. He's getting 56 TAO a day. This miner here.
Wow. And Tao is currently trading at 345.
Yeah, so 56 times 345. So he's getting $19,000 a day. But that's because he has, so many GPUs. And I can go here. I can actually go on the Suits website and see what GPUs he has, and kind of you can get an estimate. So this is also like, if I were to mine Shoots, this is how I would look at, am I going to make money or not? So we'll go here.
Oh.
We're going to get his hotkey, and we're going to look. Oh, I think this is it. Yeah, so this guy, we can go down here, and we should be able to see how many GPUs he has. Here we go. Yeah, this guy here has 1,000 of the H200s.
Wow.
So that's around $4 million in GPUs, I think, 4.5.
And he's renting them, or he or she's renting them.
It's possible that he owns them.
Oh.
It's very possible that he owns them, because with that amount of GPUs, you probably have enough stake in the game to own them,
And then this person is making 20,000 a day, pretty much.
Yes. Yeah, but so you have to think about all the fixed cost of these as
Fixed
well, though.
cost. Yes.
So
And
either if you're renting them, or they have them bought, it depends. But yeah.
so H200. So now in this example, if you can just tell us a little bit rough estimate cost, in your opinion. Obviously, we don't know all the fixed cost, but what's their cost a day if they're getting 20,000 in revenue?
Well, I'll tell you the market price. The market price of an H200. Now, these guys might have some backdoor deals,
It could be
or
cheaper.
it could, they might have some credits or something. But if you were just the average person with no connections, this is what you could rent them out for. It's actually right here, $245 an hour. So let's actually do the math here.
Yeah.
1,032 divided by 245, or actually, times 245. Sorry, times 245 times 24. So if this is actually why blockchain and decentralization is so good. Shoots is paying this guy $20,000 a day for what is basically $60,000 worth of GPUs.
Wow.
So this is why it's advantageous to have this sort of decentralized nature kind of thing, because you're getting an insane deal. Like the Shoots platform is as a company, they have the cheapest GPUs in the world probably.
Wow. So they're giving this person 20,000 a day, but if you were to go and run this model yourself and rent these the 1032 H200s at
Yes,
245 an hour, you're looking at a fixed cost, a daily fixed cost of 60,000.
60,000. Yeah,
So and but then they must have a deal
or
that
they own
they're
them.
they
So
must
yes,
own them. Okay, okay.
yeah, and also the thing is that they can, if they have idle GPUs or vacant GPUs that they're not renting, they can put them on here. Instead of earning $0, they earn some amount of dollars. You see?
Okay. So in this particular example, this miner here,
Hmm.
I've seen multiple places where the Tao system talks about having an edge. So this just from the cost perspective, they have an edge, right? And not
Yeah.
just not even the programming. So they must have, either it's a big company themselves that's doing this, or or they must have credits, and they're able to do this. But economics wise, if someone gets in and they're trying to learn and they want to also have an edge, how do they make money? If And I believe it's in this ecosystem, you only have a limited number of miners per subnet, and if one
Hmm.
gets kicked out, the other one comes in, right?
Yeah.
So give us an example, walk us through how, and like, which subnets have you enjoyed mining the most, and how can you overtake somebody? Give us a practical example. I don't give us all the secrets, but give us an example of a simple example of a hypothetical one of how this can be done.
So I'll show you here. Like you were saying, there's only certain miners per. There's only a certain, like a limited amount of miners per subnet.
Hmm.
Um, and you can see here, this is the graph of all the miners. And it's kind of like a winner takes all thing, because it's an economy of scale thing.
Hmm.
It's much easier you make a lot more per dollar if you have a lot of GPUs than if you just have a few and you're trying to, manage just a few. So I mined collaboratively with some folks for a good amount of time, 6 or 7 months. Um, and that's a great way to get started. If you don't know everything about the network, if you can do collaborative work with other, get 2 or 3 of your friends that are, maybe they're not even programmers yet, but they have the desire to learn how to program.
Like
Um,
Python.
yeah, Python's the main thing. Anything in AI is basically Python nowadays. There's not much any other language that has use in AI. But so get a few of your friends, and basically, yeah, I'll tell you how I were to pick a subnet to
Okay,
mine if I
sure.
was just a brand new newbie. So I'd
Okay.
go to the subnets tab here.
Mm.
I would let's see here. Oh, it's a
Yeah, I
little bit
think it's
laggy. Sorry.
yeah, I think it's also a window within a window.
Oh yeah, that's definitely it.
Yeah.
Here, we'll go here. But yeah, so I would go to the subnets tab here, and you'd see all of the subnets.
So yeah, you see, yeah. No, so basically, if you look here, you were on the right
Uh-huh.
tab. I think it's a scroll within a scroll right there. You see,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So you can scroll down
Okay.
there.
Yeah, so I mean, you can see all these subnets, and so a lot of them, the names is their names are not. They don't really tell you what they do. But for example, proprietary trading network. Basically, what they do. Let's say you're really into finance. What they do is they ask you for your signals on a forex or crypto or whatever equity maybe, um, and then you submit your signals, and then if the signals are right, uh, they reward you with
Wow,
the emission I was talking about. Yeah, and
wow.
this is all automated, so it's not like they send you a text and it's like, "What's your opinion on Bitcoin?" It's like
Mhm.
all automated, so you have a model that's running, and then the model gets queried like that, and then it spits out an answer. So they have a pre-trained model here, but to win, obviously, you can't use what they gave you at the start. You have to make your own and make it better. So that's what the top miners of here are doing, and that's just one example of a subnet. Um, Celium is another subnet, and what they do. it's kind of like Shoots where they pay people for the access to their GPUs, but instead of like actually using the GPUs and you running models on them, Celium just rinsed them out. So that the site I pulled up earlier to get the prices for uh, the H200, it said what is it, 245 an hour.
Yep.
If we go here to Liam, you'll see that the price is much less, much less. So 15.2 an hour divided by 8 is less than $2 an hour. Because these are 1.9 an hour. So that's a 50 cent an hour discount per GPU. So that's pretty cool.
So basically, this particular company is a sub renter, right? So you can then rent. So you can rent one subnet's assets and mine on another subnet.
Exactly. And maybe, and I
Oh,
don't know if this is even technically possible, but like on the Shoots example, perhaps that big Shoots miner was maybe renting these GPUs and putting them over there. Now, I don't think that's technically possible on that exact subnet, but on other subnets, yeah, you can use these GPUs and then mine on another subnet, and then these are much cheaper than what you can find on the market.
oh, okay.
Mhm.
And then okay, and as you were going through the other subnets, if you can explain more. And I remember seeing unknowns, right? And to me,
Yeah,
unknowns were the ones, because this is such up and coming technology that some things will get outdated, and once they get outdated, the unknowns will kick in, right? New subnets will kick in.
yeah. So basically, unknowns are just subnets that have been bought. It's kind of like
Like
it's
top
kind of like
secret
a
there.
SPAC. Yeah.
Okay.
So can you see this?
Yes.
So it's kind of like a SPAC or a pre-IPO company in finance. Like it's a company that exists basically only with the ticker. There's no company behind it. So all of these companies are just vacant companies or inactive companies, right? And these are just smaller companies. These are like kind of like penny stocks, I guess you could say in the finance world. But yeah, so there's a lot of speculation on these companies because number one, they're very illiquid. You can see that these are going for really high prices, 19 TAO per token, 21 per TAO per token. But there's also only like, you know, 10 tokens in issuance. So
Yeah.
that's why they're actually less than, if you look at here, you can see that there's actually less than the price of. But anyways, these unknown tokens are basically just subnets that haven't launched yet or launched and then they failed and they sold it to somebody else and they haven't done anything with it.
Hmm.
So yeah.
So interesting. So now on going back to our original subnets and how you were saying that if someone wanted to start, can you just walk us through a little bit more on what other subnets? Because I'm sure, just like this is so technical, but you're saying that there could be folks or the companies that have their own hardware, and companies could be miners too, right?
Yeah, I think perhaps that's the case on Shoots. I can't speak for certain, but it definitely could be possible looking at the reward rate. Um, but yeah, so you can see here that there's 128 subnets that you can mine. So if you just go through here and you click on every one, I bet even if you don't know how to program, I bet one will interest you enough that you're like, wow, I should actually learn about this. I should learn how to program to solve this problem that they're asking me to solve. And that's how I would just get started because particularly if you're new to it, the top 10 are probably not the best place to compete because there are people that have been doing this for, just doing Bittensor mining alone for 3 or 4 years. And then, before that, they have 20 years of professional experience. So if you're just a noob, come out and go to the third, fourth, fifth page of Tau stats and then go on these guys' websites. So like, I'll give you an example here. Bittensor.
A
This is
betting company.
basically, yeah, it's a betting. It's like how I said the PTN was a company that um, asked for your predictions on stocks and then they rewarded you if you were right. This is the same
Hmm.
thing, but for sports gambling. So maybe you like sports a lot. Maybe you wanted to learn how to build a model that can predict sports games. If you do that here, you're having fun while doing it. You're learning, and also you're getting paid. So I'll show you here.
Wow. Wow.
And also you have to look at the cost of mining the subnet as well as the rewards. So like the cost of mining shoots was very high, right? We said it was $60,000 a day, or that's what the expected cost was. The cost of mining this subnet is basically nothing because you can honestly run it on a Raspberry Pi or a really cheap rented computer online. So these guys are earning, I can't tell you because this is a subnet where there are a lot of miners,
Hmm.
and they're all earning, just a little bit here and there. But you could make probably $1,000 a day mining on this subnet if you had a good model.
So now here, a small question. So, a noob question. So
Yes.
if I knew how to predict, or if my predictions were spot on when it comes to finance or equities or even sports betting. So even though I'm providing this model, and there must be some other end usage of it that someone else or an ecosystem is also further making money that I'm getting rewards, right?
Well, that's the idea. Now, details kind of early in its stage, but that's the idea, and
What is DTAO?
is basically
If you can
so
explain.
DTAO is basically there used to be there still used to be subnets, but subnets did never had prices. So you see the emission here.
Hmm.
That was basically you got a share of 7,200 tau a day, and now with DTAO, you get a share of 7,200 of this token today. That's basically all it is. But what made DTAO different is basically that you can trade the tokens, and also so that you can speculate on subnets themselves, like stocks. So let's say
Mm.
I really like Templar, and I think it should be way higher than this. For this is I think $10 per token or something like that. I think it should be way higher than $10 per token. I can invest in it, and I'll give you an example here. This is if you invested in this subnet 2 months ago. Uh, let's see, it's not been so hot after the past week, but how do I do it here? 5 days, 1 day, 3 months. Yeah. So I just
Yeah.
had it. Yeah. So this is the 3 months rise. So I mean, this is insane. It's insane rise. This is something like a 10x right here. I think if you sold up here. So that's what detail is basically.
So that's basically a token now for each of the specific subnets themselves and how well
Mhm.
they're doing. So then you can have like spec traders that come in. They can buy and sell depending on and provide liquidity basically
Mhm.
to the subnet.
Exactly. And you can also mine a subnet, and if you're bullish on it, you don't even have to sell your tokens. So you can basically speculate in the subnet, not for free, but you don't have to buy tokens to speculate. So
That
if
there
you're
we go.
bullish on a
Speculate. Yeah.
subnet, you can also just mine it and get a lot of the tokens and then hold them. And then when price rises, maybe you make 10 grand before you, or just with mining. But if it rises 10x, you made 100 grand.
Okay. Okay. So there's a lot of room for you to make money, not just mining or validating, but basically just getting into spec trading and actually holding on to the particular subnet tokens. So if you
Yeah.
like a subnet and if you think that this particular subnet, for example, give us an example for that I see this Bitcast. I'm sure there's this subnet is probably doing some casting or streaming, right? And
Yeah.
and whoever users are coming in with their models to improve the stream, sure, and then they're probably adding this new formula to the overall Bitcast that maybe the company, right? And the company is doing well.
Yeah.
And and
Exactly.
then, oh, okay. And then I'd seen somewhere where there was an area where for these large LLM models, there was data refining, data collection, and all
Yeah.
kinds of where is that?
Um, so data collection, here we go, data universe. This is a really old subnet, and it's been doing this for a while, but
Wow.
basically, so you can go on any of these subnets, and most of them will have a one sentence or two sentence description right here of what they do. But they've been scraping X, Reddit, you know, Facebook, like basically all the social medias
Mm-hmm.
um, for data. So if
And then
you
they're
know,
giving this data to the large
to the
LLMs.
miners, yeah, or to miners on other subnets. So like here, I don't know if they use them particularly, but here's Templar, and this is basically just building one big LLM
Mhm.
for the whole of Bittensor. So I think they have a website, and I can maybe go to that. And
So I have a question, and this, I mean,
yeah,
this could be where my thinking of this was a little different. Is any of these subnets feeding into the main large LLMs, how they're coming up with new models, right? So they also
Mhm.
need, so for example, like ChatGPT, for you to have a company like ChatGPT, you need to invest like billions of dollars, have a whole ecosystem of data collection, refining, training the models,
Yep.
testing, rolling the model out. So this Bittensor
Yes.
ecosystem is basically a decentralized way of for you to also feed into some of these open source models, right? And making them
Yes,
better.
exactly. So basically, Claude and ChatGPT and all that, they're all closed source, so they don't really, want any open source
Yeah.
contribution. But BitTensor is making its own version of these, and this is an example of Templar. So what they're doing is this is really nerdy speak, but basically what they're doing is they're just making incrementally larger and larger models, and they're going to open source them, and they already have. So, for example, here's the 70 billion model. Now,
Mhm.
ChatGPT is about 1 trillion parameters, or something like that. So they still have a decent way to go. But if you look at the training, basically, this is the loss graph. The lower it gets, it means the smarter the model is getting, right? So it's the fact that this can be done decentralized and over the internet, and not have to pour in $100 billion into investment and data collection and all that. The fact that this can be done just via decentralization and over the internet is really fantastic. And if you look here, this is the like benchmark performance of the model. So it's actually doing quite well. Quite well. This is a pretty high score. I'm not familiar with the closed source models. I think they're hovering around 40 or 42%. But the fact that it's even getting close to that is really really awesome.
Wow, wow. So I have a question. So, for example, now CPA firms and CPA societies all over the U.S., especially the Texas CPA Society, they're embedding AI. So I can assume that they're probably going to take a base source model of some type, and then
Mhm.
it's that further adding data, refining, collection, making it better, and they can probably
Mhm.
utilize some of these. Bittensor's ecosystem or a similar model like this. I mean, this is
Yeah,
honestly, there's just so much information that wow, it's I'm having
it's
a
really hard to distill into a podcast. But yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I encourage anybody just go here and just click on a subnet and read it. And I was gonna show you this. Um, like you were saying that like the CPA firm or whatever, they wanted to get involved in AI.
yeah.
What this allows them to do is that, let's say you have like previous tax returns that you've done and previous strategies you used. Basically, this is a subnet. This is subnet 56. What they allow you to do is just upload CVS or CSVs and
CSVs.
PDFs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you can basically fine tune a model without knowing how to do any of that. All you do is bring your data, you upload it here, and it fine tunes it for you. And then you have
Wow.
Bittensor miners that are outperform because Google and Hugging Face, they offer the same thing. Let's see here. But this is outperforming Google and Hugging Face, and this is just a little crypto company, which is actually crazy. So this is right here. The the best performing auto LLM. Basically, this auto LLM means basically uh, training, like automated fine tuning and training. And if you look here, Hugging Face, Google, AWS, they all like suck. Like it's beating them in performance and cost ratio, and also the ease of use. Because I've used AWS and I'm pretty technical, and it's really quite hard to use. Gradients, all you do is you just drag your PDS and CSVs over, and you're good.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the sky's the limit here. I mean,
Basically, yeah.
in terms of how you want to use it, how you want to, which sub. I mean, this is going so fast. Wow. Any
Mhm.
particular subnets that you have your eye on
Well,
for the future,
gr-
personally?
gradients, I love. Shoots, I
Mhm.
love. Celium's really good. Templar is really good, and it's kind of cool because uh, Rayon Lab. So there's kind of like conglomerates in like Bittensor. So these shoots and gradients, as well as a few others, are owned by this like conglomerate, like called Rayon Labs. And I like anything that they make. I'll go here. Rayon Labs, yeah. So this is kind of like, you know how Google has 17 million different products, and they all are pretty good. This is the same thing for this company. So anything this company puts out, in my opinion, is an automatic buy. And I'm not shilling
Wow.
my own bags. Well, I guess I am kind of shilling my own bags, but
Hmm.
it's a real they've earned this shill. You know,
Wow.
they're making $300,000 in revenue. They're making a decent amount as well. It's really awesome what they're doing.
Yeah, I think the revenue is just a small little piece. I think it's all the earning the rewards on a daily basis. That's
Mhm.
where the bulk of the revenue is coming in. But obviously, on the outside, you can see that the company is also profitable, right? That
Yeah,
that it's not just so the
it's not
company.
vaporware, and they're not
Yeah,
giving it away for free. It's
yeah.
actually
So
if somebody's paying for you for your product, that means your product solves a problem for them,
wow.
which is the most important thing.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. So basically there are end users of these companies, and then these companies themselves have outsourced or decentralized all the various
The
components
the production, yeah,
of
basically
production.
the production of the commodity they want to produce, which is a fancy way of just saying whatever they want to sell to the customer.
Okay.
Um,
And without, giving up your location, are these a lot of USA based, Canada based, or are they all over the world, or how are
a
the
lot of them,
company?
a lot of them are DAO structures, and a lot of them they're purely anonymous, which is you know I think it's actually quite cool. It's kind of like you know um, it's kind of like Bittensor. It's like you can come here and create a company worth, I don't know. I mean, what's the market cap? This is in TAO. So the market cap of Shoots is 277,000 TAO, which is a lot of money. I don't know exactly what it is, but the fact that you can do that and be, in a destructured organization and be in kind of anonymous is really awesome.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
227,000 times $344. That's their market cap.
Yeah. I mean, we'll do it right here. Um, 700,
No,
yeah,
seven,
783 million, right? I think that's right.
yeah, 78 million, I think. Or
78
78.
million. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that's, I
no,
mean, you can do that. That's amazing. You can do that by just coding on your computer and joining the Discord and getting a subnet.
so okay, so and for someone to get started and get these tokens, they need to obviously follow the procedures, get a Tau wallet, and all of
Mhm.
that is available online. And then
Yep.
join the Discord, right? Join the Discord,
Yep.
and then say that they want to be a new miner, and then they'll get some sample Tau or a little bit of Tau for them to play with.
Yep. And you can just you go in the Discord and you can ask, say, hey, I want to mine this subnet. And basically all these subnets have a test net where don't have to pay with any money to actually register and mine, but they'll still have a validator running. And you can go there and make sure your code works. And once your code works and you feel confident enough, and then go to the real subnet. And then basically to register to mine one of these subnets, it costs a little bit of money. So we'll go here to Shoots, and it's basically just like the right to mine. So Shoots cost
Like the registration
let's see.
fee, basically.
Yeah, the registration fee. Yeah, Shoots
Okay.
costs, but it's basically free for Shoots. But
Wow.
I mean, for some subnets, it's like $50, maybe $100. But you're for that for the earning potential, I think it's well worth the cost.
And I believe that Tao is, I'm speaking for the USA base. It's not available on any of the centralized exchanges. So you have to use a VPN and go to a decentralized exchange like Mexi.
It might be on Coinbase now, I
it might be
believe.
on Coinbase. Okay.
I think so. I can or I think so.
Coinbase is all over the news these days. Yeah. Oh, it is. It
Yeah,
is.
it is.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow. Wow. So now it is available to all the US residents too, for them to go and dive in right away. And
Yeah.
and you know, we're getting to the last end of our podcast. We only have 10 more minutes, but one question I want to ask you is the ledger. Obviously, with all the blockchains and everything that we've seen so far, the only way it works is if it has a distributed ledger, which is transparent, so then no one's cheating each other out, right? What about for
Correct.
Tao?
Tao is the same way. It's actually based off of the Polkadot blockchain, if you're familiar with that.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
so this is basically like a fork of Polkadot, and that's what runs their like actual blockchain operations. Like, I'm sending you money, and how do I make sure that you got the money, and how do you know I ever have the money? That's basically all
All
run
right.
off Ledger. So I'll go here, and this is kind of like the block explorer. So you can go
Got it.
here. These
Got it.
are all transactions. And this is, you can go back to the first transaction ever here. And there's going to be easier ways to query that. So I'll do an example. We'll go to, let's say that this was your wallet. You can go here to the transactions. Well, actually, this is, yeah, here we go. The transfers rather. And this guy's sending his money to Binance. And for your accounting purposes, I know you're a CPA. You can look here, and that's what makes it a ledger. Is that they're always there.
Got
It's
it.
not like your bank statement where maybe they delete their files after 2 years or something. This is there forever.
Forever, yeah. No, this is exactly what CPAs need. I mean, for us to do accounting and taxes on this. I remember some time ago, obviously, it is not as easy to read at times, and or to extract data, because some of the third-party crypto softwares, they can't extract. So I remember giving out a query on I believe it was you, and you had helped write a small little code for a client of mine to pull the transactions. So thank you for that. That was really nice. And
Of course, yeah.
And last question for our podcast. Any failures that you have experienced, and what to watch out for when mining, and I remember there was also the sub validating, right? Where if you were a validator, you could or if you were a miner, you could do a sub validating, right? Or so tell us a little bit about failures, and what is a sub validation or sub mining, or I forget the term.
Yeah. So failures, just test your code a lot before you go in, because if you're running with a lot of machines and your code fails and it's down, and then you wake up and then you just burned $1,000 because your code sucked or something like that. So always test your code, for sure.
And how
then
do you
also
test your
don't
code?
that on the test net, like I was saying, is basically you go to the Discord and then you ask the moderators, can I have some test tokens? And they'll send you some. And then you can go on the test net, and there's good guides out there on how to do this. It's really pretty easy. And then you run your code, and then you make sure it's good for 48 hours or whatever. And
Excellent advice. Excellent advice.
yeah.
So that's why we're not burning our money.
Yeah, and that way you can maybe run it with 1 GPU instead of 24. And if it sucks, maybe you only lost $10 instead of 1,000. So that's basically that's the number one thing is test. Because if not, you can waste a lot of money. And I think you're talking about with the sub validators is so it's called child hotkeying. It's basically these validators. This is for anybody wanting to start a validator, get into that. It is much harder than mining. I would have to say, because it requires you to get a lot of stake. I think you probably need around, I don't know, 50K TAO stake to you, and it doesn't have to be your own TAO. You can get other people to stake it to you, but it's hard to get people to delegate, especially starting off. But
can you describe the difference between the miner and a validator? What is exactly the difference?
So a validator basically just validates the outputs of miners. They don't create anything. They just run code that makes sure what the miners are sending back is correct, and a lot of subnets they also make it's correct, and how correct is it or how good is it. So that's what these guys get rewarded for, and they get rewarded proportional to their stake, and then they take a little bit of the rewards from their stake because they're also paying these guys that they have all the TAO here. So this validator actually takes 0%. So they're taking 0% of a cut, right? So they earn $0 for running all the machines. Why they do this? Maybe it's a promotion, a short-term thing, or something like that. But that's what they choose to do. But their nominators or their stakers here, they earn 377 TAO a day divided by this 266,000. So if you give them 1,000 TAO, you earn 1/266 of this portion. If that makes sense.
Okay. And what is your prediction for just, for example, someone wants to go to Coinbase today. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of viewers that are going to watch this podcast video again and again. And I'll be, but this is going to be there because, you know, we have a lot of just mom and pop clients too that love to just invest and provide liquidity. What is just your prediction if they were to go to Coinbase and just purchase the TAO token? Where do you think they're headed?
I think it's gonna be really good. If anybody's familiar with the crypto world, and Barry Silbert just went on a podcast the other day and said it's the most he's the most excited about since he's seen Bitcoin. So
Wow.
that's pretty crazy. I mean he has over $2 billion in net worth. So you know this is not a small guy saying that, and this is his company right here actually, and they have 142,000 TAO staked to them. So
Wow.
that's pretty crazy. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I think the halving is coming up, for the mom and pop people basically. It's like there's less tokens being emitted, so there's basically less token to be sold.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll show you what happens when Bitcoin halves, right? And I'll show you the chart of Bitcoin's price and when it halves. And you tell me every time it halves, it always looks pretty good. So this is the halving. It's right here.
Mm-hmm.
1 year after, 1 year after up, 1 year after up, 1 year after, 1 year after it goes up. So
and it looks like it's testing that resistance or resistance line right there, and hopefully it's gonna pop out or something.
Yeah, I think it will. So I think this is a pretty safe bet. It's not like a bunch of other coins that have no utility. I mean, these are real companies doing real things. It's not like some vaporware.
It's not like the Trump or Melania coin.
No, yeah, it's definitely not like that. Definitely not like that.
So there's a whole utility behind it. There's a whole operation. There's and again, this has been in operation for the last 3 years, and I know now but still to this day, I just see very few people that break into it, but now they can just buy the token. They don't have to get all technical. They can buy the token. Well, wow. Wow. I'm going to have to replay this podcast for myself and go through all the answers because there was a lot of technical stuff that you told us. I just want to say thank you so much. We're absolutely honored to have you. And again, everyone from us and from all over the world, because the fact is that you're sharing knowledge with us, and knowledge is the power. Knowledge is money. Knowledge is everything. And for you to have a big heart like this, I just want to say thank you from us, and thank you from all of our clients too.
Of course, yeah. I hope you guys got something from it.
Yes, definitely, and we'll be in touch. We might do in the future. I'll do a solo video just on taxes, but in the future, if we need to maybe pick one subnet and maybe get into it, and I'll reach out to you. Thank you so much.
Of course, yeah. Awesome. All right.
Okay. Take care.
Perfect. All right. Bye-bye.